Hi everyone, I'm here just testing the volume. If you, uh, we will begin here in about 3 minutes here at 12:30. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start our live broadcast. Yeah, feel free to, if you're coming here from Facebook, feel free to ask any questions that you may have had about the forecast, and I can answer them either in the chat or audibly in the next couple seconds here. Take a drink of water. We'll start in 1 minute, everyone. Go ahead and make some comments on here if you're excited about the potential for some storms today. This is where we'll be doing all of our live streaming for any storms that happen during the day today. So just kind of fiddle around here, get used to the format. So that way you can help as much as, or you can ask questions as easily as possible while we're doing this live stream about any storms that are ongoing. So should be a good time. Alright everybody, I just did this forecast on Facebook. I'm going to do it again here, live on our website here at hailtrace.com. This is our live weather center, and when you get texts from us saying that we're broadcasting live that are not forecasts and that are specifically our live continuing coverage of storms, it'll be here on this website. It's hailtrace.com/live weather center. So this is where we're doing. You can post comments on the side, and we are, or whichever side it is. So we are going to be streaming on here, and this is just our live. We're going to start right away with the forecast here. And get rid of that. And all right, so what's going on right now is we have nice warm air advection, or it's the warm moist air moving to the north. The computer models last night, they were having, or just the past few days, have been having a really hard time. The biggest question was moisture return, and it's looking like the moisture is streaming to the north much more quickly than what the models were anticipating, as we have these nice 60s here in the Dallas area and right along the Red River. So they're expected to reach Oklahoma City just in time for storms to fire in a few hours here, about 4 o'clock tonight. Now, interestingly enough, we zoom in and there's some showers here that formed just by like Chickasha and by Lawton. These are not any big time thunderstorms. These are just basic little elevated showers that form because of the warm air advection that tends to happen sometimes as nice warm air bubbles up north. Sometimes it overrides the dry air and it causes some sort of convection here. These are little showers. They're not expected to do anything too crazy. Just occur and move off to the north and east. We have a moderate risk out. The Storm Prediction Center said a moderate risk, so this red area here is that's what this red area here is. It's a moderate risk and enhanced risk, slight, and etc., etc. So we're going to jump right into my actual forecast here. I'm going to see if anybody has any questions. No. Okay. All right, we're jumping straight into the forecast. Any of you guys who came here from the from the Facebook forecast, you saw this a second ago, and it's completely unchanged from our what we had before. Uh, we have the risk for hail, and more importantly, we have the blue swath here of up to softball size hail. It's the first time we've done softball size hail this year, and probably about a year too. We haven't had any big time hail risks in a while now, so it's pretty exciting. We don't use this blue too often. That's indicating up to softball size hail with any of the strongest storms that do occur. Oklahoma City, you are our pick city for the day. We have you a 50% chance of seeing storms. They're going to start after 4 p.m. or it'll start for the Oklahoma City area after 4 p.m. Storms should form between 3 and 4 out in the dry line along here, right at the edge of our hail risk area. And they're the type of storms that can go up and right away, then we drop in golf ball size hail and then getting a lot larger. The environment is very primed for up to big time hail. The lapse rates, which is one of the main things we see for hail growth, are in the ridiculous category for today for hail growth. So anything from baseball to softball is very possible within this purple area, and especially in our blue area. In terms of non-major metropolitan areas, I'd say Ardmore has the best chance of seeing big time hail today. Sorry about that, guys. I'm broadcasting from home, so our dog is barking at somebody out leaving the house. But anyway, so Ardmore has the best chance of, I'd say Ardmore has about a 60% chance of seeing big time hail today, and also potential for some tornadoes as well. So we have up to softball size hail possible there. And in terms of Texas, your best chance, the cities with the best chance of seeing big hail today in Texas are like Sherman, Denison, furthest maybe down by Gainesville. And potentially the furthest most south, I'd say, is about Denton, Texas. And that's why I have a 15% chance for the Dallas metro area. Looks like storms are just going to form a little too far off to your north, so they're not really going to see any big time storms. But if any storms do form, they'll be pretty big monsters. It'll be probably one isolated storm, and it'll be dropping baseball-sized hail. So there's that potential for the Dallas area seeing that happening. So that's why I have a 15% chance. And later on in the evening, when these storms kind of consolidate into a line, the tail end Charlie may move through the Denton area, so that maintains my 15% chance. And that storm later on, that'll be after about 10 o'clock tonight, that can have up to tennis ball size hail as well. Further to north, Enid, you're also in that risk for big time hail. I think the best moisture is down closer to Oklahoma City, so you could see up to baseball size hail, more likely 2 inch to tennis ball size hail. You're at a 40% chance. It's looking pretty likely you're going to see some storms today. Wichita, I think you're a little too far to the north to see any big time hail across the area, so you're outside of a risk today. And Tulsa, you may be a bit too far to the east. You will get some storms later on tonight, but it's looking like the storms are going to be much weaker as they turn into a line as they move towards the Tulsa area. So I'm giving you about a 15% chance of seeing any type of hail, and your biggest hail will probably be on the western sides of the Tulsa area, places like Sapulpa and Jinx and whatnot. I'd say about up to golf ball size hail. Finally, Wichita Falls, you're a little too far to the west, actually, to see any big time storms. So I'm going to give you about a 2% chance. Storms may form directly over you or just barely to your east. Looks like you might be just east of the dry line, and that will take you out of the game today for big time hail. Alright, we're going to move forward here. My pick city here is Oklahoma City. Those of you who have been following us for a while, you probably are used to this variation of this graphic anyway, where we do a more localized hail forecast. Basically, we're just going over Oklahoma City today. That's our pick city. So anywhere between 4 and 8 p.m., the metro area of Oklahoma City is expected to see some hail. So that's basically extending from about El Reno east towards Shawnee, and then from about Guthrie down through about Norman. That's what I'm saying for the Oklahoma City metro. So closer to 4 is like El Reno and places like Yukon. Closer to 8 is places like Shawnee. Up softball size hail is possible in any of these areas. Most likely place for that, if I really had to pinpoint it, is like Moore and Norman, south sides of Oklahoma City. that looks like that's where the big time storm may move through, but of course up through like Edmond and stuff, you guys are all at risk today. 50% chance of seeing at least quarter size hail. I'd say 50% chance of seeing at least golf ball size hail. These are the type of storms where they're going to take off immediately with big time hail. So I would not be shocked if Oklahoma City. I would be very shocked if Oklahoma City got through this event without seeing any sort of hail at all whatsoever. And finally, the winds may be kind of strong, up to 70 miles per hour with the strongest wind gusts, as there's plenty of dry air aloft, and that tends to enhance strong winds mixing down to the south. So again, up to between 4 and 8 p.m., up to softball size hail is possible, and it's a 50% chance of seeing any kind of hail in Oklahoma City metro, and 70 mile per hour wind maximum. And finally, there is a low tornado threat. I think overall the chances of tornadoes are pretty low in the Oklahoma City area. I think the better dynamics for tornadoes are going to be further to the south of the metro area, but there is that chance, and the tornadoes may be fairly weak if there is one that forms. Now, before we move forward to the 5-day, I'm just going to check and see if I have any questions. Anybody have any questions in here? All right, all right, no questions. You can go ahead and you can enter into the chat if you have any sort of questions, or just to say where you're at, or if you're excited about the storms today. But otherwise, we're going to continue moving forward here to our 5-day forecast. All right. So looking forward towards Monday, it looks like we have a chance of seeing some hail in particularly towards the Memphis and eastwards towards Nashville, up towards Evansville, Indiana, and Paducah, Kentucky. All of you guys are at risk of seeing some hail. I have a 45% chance of hail, and I'm have you up to tennis ball size hail with the largest storms. It looks like storms will be fairly isolated tomorrow, which is a continuation of that trough that kicks through today. So even places further north and south have a chance of seeing some storms, so possibly even as far north as Indianapolis tomorrow. We're at 45% chance of seeing any kinds of storms, mainly because I just want to see what happens from the storms today before I really pinpoint tomorrow. But that's what we're saying. It's looking fairly likely that we're going to see storms tomorrow across this area, especially in our orange spots of places like Memphis and Nashville and Paducah, Kentucky. Moving forward to Tuesday. Tuesday looks like we have another trough kicking into the west. So places in Texas are really looking like we might see some big time storms, possibly some tornadoes, up to baseball size hails. Places like Abilene, Texas, Lubbock, Texas, and San Angelo, Texas. Otherwise, it's a fairly rural area, possibly as far north as Wichita Falls, Texas, and Lawton, Oklahoma, but more likely across the Lawton, Abilene area. And you're going to see some pretty big time storms. Be a good storm chasing day because it's going to be more rural than populated, but it shows just the vigorousness of this trough that's going to be moving through on Tuesday. 50% chance of seeing storms for sure then. Now Wednesday, the confidence goes down a little bit. We get a little further out, but it's looking like if Dallas misses out on the action today, Wednesday looks to be the day that Dallas sees more activity. So yeah, give a shout if you're excited for that. We have up to tennis ball size hail, any storms that form on Wednesday. So places like Dallas, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, Shreveport, Louisiana, Little Rock, Arkansas, maybe Oklahoma City. Right now I have it just south of Oklahoma City, but we're seeing up to 2.5 inch size hail, so tennis balls, and you're at 40% right now, mainly because it's getting a little further out, a little harder to pinpoint exactly where those storms are going to happen. So that's what we're thinking for Wednesday. Moving forward to Thursday, it looks like it's basically just that same vigorous trough moving to the east. So we have a pretty wide range here, pretty much extending from Indianapolis down to New Orleans. On Thursday, computer model will start to really diverge in what they're thinking. So we have a potential one computer model has the center of the low moving way up to the north, so that would give Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee a much better chance of seeing hail. And then another one has it moving further south, so it gives Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia all a chance of seeing some hail. So right now we're only seeing up to 2 inch size hail, and we're at 30% chance due to that discrepancy, so we have a pretty wide range here. And finally, moving towards Friday, we have a pretty small area, mainly because it looks like more of a transition day for the next weekend. And I don't have a risk on here right now, but there are a couple indications that the system for this whole week may slow down a little bit and give the Carolinas a chance of seeing some storms on Friday. I'll do golf ball size hail on that, and only a 30% chance of seeing storms, mainly because of our uncertainties as this next trough kicks in. There might be a couple storms that form in southwestern Oklahoma and in the panhandles of Texas and possibly in hill country of Texas as well. And moving forward beyond that, it looks like we have another intense trough that kicks in on Saturday and Sunday. So next weekend looks pretty busy as well. And all points after that, all long-range models are really just showing big-time storms, one after the other, for the next couple of weeks with no end in sight. So it looks like we're really getting to the heart of storm season kind of early here this year. Kind of what we were saying, or almost exactly what we were saying for our 2017 forecast. That was going to be pretty front-loaded, and we are really rocking and rolling pretty quick here. So it looks like every single day we're going to be real busy. We're going to be here. We're going to be doing lots of live streaming. You're going to see lots of me and hear a lot of my voice. You get kind of sick of me. You may not, depending on how good these storms end up being. So I'm going to answer any questions now if anybody has any. Otherwise, I'm going to turn this off. You will have the option to rewatch this forecast whenever you want. You just hit play on here and feel free to ask any questions. I'll try to keep myself on the chat. I'm going to move the only time I won't be on this chat to answer any questions will probably be between 1:30 and 2 as I drive to our office. I'm going to work, not going to work from home today, so I'm currently in my house, and then we'll be in the office later on. We're firing all on cylinders for this evening. Get pumped. We might see some big time storms in Oklahoma and Texas today, so have a great rest of your day, guys, and get excited.